And welcome back, everyone. So, as you can all see, I am a day late. Something came up. I had to help Mark and his girlfriend move, and I just couldn't get home. And I didn't get home till like 11 at night. So there was no way I was doing any videos at that point. I was wiped. I was tired. So screw it. As long as I let you know that we were doing the videos a day late, we can do the videos a day late. So this one comes to us from Rainbow Prism, who asked the question: what is Bart Simpson's Pokemon team? Don't have a cow, man. I can't do a Bart Simpson. That voice is a little too high in a certain octave for me to imitate properly. Bart Simpson, though, obviously the perpetual fourth grader, I believe it's fourth grader of the Simpsons household. He's the older brother of Lisa and Maggie, the only son of Homer and Marge. Bart's kind of a unique individual in many ways. I was wondering how this team was going to play out, and I realized kind of what I wanted to do. So right out the gate, one of the big traits of Bart is that he is a prankster. He loves to play pranks, for better or worse. So I knew I needed some prankster type Pokemon, or Pokemon that could be helpful in being pranksters. And that ultimately came down to a couple mon, in my opinion. One of them being Impidimp. Impidimp is a little, gremlin. It makes sense, and he's non-fully evolved Pokemon as well. He's immature. They're very mischievous, just like Bart is. This would be a perfect mon to have on this team. Now, initially, when I thought of this team, I debated having a Scrappy on the team. Is it Scrafty or Scraggy? Which one is the evolution? Well, hold on. I'm checking that right now. Which one's the evolution? Which one is Scraggy? Sorry, Scraggy on the team. Scrafty is a too adult. Well, I thought about having a Scraggy on the team because they're kind of representative of Japanese punks trying, pulling up their pants, trying to act tough, but got to pull up their pants. But I ultimately decided against it. I'm like, he's not really a delinquent in that sense of the term. He's more of just a troublemaker. He's a kid who likes to play pranks. So I didn't really dig with Scraggy on the team. Who I did dig on having team was Haunter. Now I have Haunter on the team instead of Ghastly because Haunter's hands make him a lot more effective for freaking people out and playing pranks. Haunters in the Ghastly lane also like to freak people out and play pranks. So I do think this would be a bond he'd have on his team. Also, because Bart has a tendency to bond very well with animals. He's apparently the animal lover in the household. He probably wouldn't trade Haunter to evolve it into a Gengar. Even if unless say Millhouse say, hey Bart, well, I'll trade you my Golem for your Haunter, then they'll be or my Growler for your Haunter, and then that way they'll evolve, and then we'll just trade them back. Say, all right, Millhouse, something like that he might do. But generally speaking, I don't see him trading any Mon because he actually really bonds with his animals, which brings us to the next member of his team, his best animal friend, Santa's little helper. In this case, Bolthound. Now, I did Bolthound because there is no Greyhound Pokemon as of yet. If you've followed the Scarlet and Violet spoilers, you know that the Fido line isn't the only dog line in the Paldea region. In fact, there actually are multiple dog lines. So maybe one of those is a Greyhound. Who knows? But this is the closest Mon in terms of all the dog Pokemon we have to me that is basically a Greyhound. It's kind of just a generic dog, admittedly, but it's close enough to a Greyhound. Plus lightning speed. And really, when I think a man's best friend type Pokemon, this is definitely the Mon I kind of think about in terms of dogs. Like Growlithe would be a close second, but I don't. I just see this as honestly I like Bolthound a lot in terms of a design. It just looks like a nice Pokemon. So there's that. Now the rest of these do fall into the category of Bart's love and bonding with animals. It does fall into the category, but they still represent at least a little something of Bart. Well, one of them doesn't, but that was just for the sheer animal part of it. And in fact, why don't we get the sheer animal out of it right now? There's an episode where he bonds with an elephant called Mr. Stampy. So Mr. Stampy is represented by a Caparaja. There you go. He bonded with a Caparaja and added this to his team. And it's a steel type, so Mr. Stampy really does apply very well. So apart from that, there's also an episode where he kind of like is attached to these bird-eating lizards, these pigeon-eating lizards. Add on to the fact, and so I'm like, okay, I need a lizard Pokemon. There are surprisingly not as many as you might think. Like Calculon's a chameleon. Sure. But to think on like a straight lizard, it's not, I mean, there are definitely more than that, but it's not as easy as you might think. But ultimately, I combined his ability for sports with Cyclozar. Thanks to Gen 9 for giving us Cyclozar. And even though it's a dragon, it's basically a lizard. Um, so it's in its name. It's Cycle Lizard. Now, obviously, we've seen how these actually in the trailers how these actually they run. They don't actually drive, but still, it's kind of a sports-like lizard, which would make sense for Bart. Now, the last mon on team actually encompasses like a large amount about Bart. So, Animal Lover is already on this in the category. This is another one that goes towards the Animal Lover. But Bart's actually, despite the fact that he doesn't really apply himself very well in school, and this is partly due to ADHD, he's actually very crafty, very intelligent, and will learn things that have nothing to do with school. He's actually very intelligent. It's just he's not capable of applying himself properly. So, what kind of mon, an animal-based mon, can learn a lot of different things, but only through a certain means? And for me, that ultimately came down to the almighty, all-powerful Smeargle. This is because its sketch ability literally means it can learn any ability so long as it's seen it rock properly. So long as you time the Smeargle sketch right, or the Smeargle times its sketch right, it will learn any move that it's capable of learning. It's only capable of learning sketch so many times, obviously. Then again, if you go to a move tutor, you can just relearn sketch over and over again. But this goes in line with Bart, who's only really capable of learning and comprehending and applying things in a certain viewpoint, in a certain method. And I like this because it's basically kind of like a weird monkey thing. It's never actually really said what Smeargle is. It's kind of like a monkey. It looks a little bit like a monkey, but also kind of like a lemurish thing, which is another ape, but not a monkey. I don't know. It's kind of it's weird, but this would be the team I think would fit Bart if he were to fully evolve this team. As far as Cyclozar doesn't actually evolve into Koraidon or Miraidon. There's a different scenario with them. All he'd have was a Grimmsnarl, and a Gengar, two very powerful Pokemon. But he's got honestly, it's not a badly balanced team, actually. He's got two normal types on there. One of them is a dual type with Dragon. So the normal gives them immunity to Ghost twice over. The Dragon isn't immune to anything, but resists most. It's just going to get crippled by Ice and Fairy and other dragons. But still, the Dragon normal type now has the immunity to Ghost, and its weakness to fighting gets cut down. You got Ghost type and Gengar. Ghost type and Haunter was a Ghost Poison type. That means it's got an immunity from all physical moves. At least physical moves from fighting and normal types. So that's two immunities right there. Plus the poison type means he has a nice little resistance to ground, if I'm not mistaken. No, what else is poison strong again? Grass type moves. Yeah, it would be resistant to grass type moves. That's it. And fairy type moves, actually. That's the fairy killer on the team, actually. As well as having the Copperajah as a steel type. But I mean, it's still weak to dark types. The psychic types can still hurt the poison type. If this Haunter didn't have Levitate, which most Haunters do, it'd be at risk with ground type moves. So I mean, it's catch-22. Impidimp though, it's a very dark type, so the fighting type weakness is mitigated to some degree. Bug is still a weakness though. Poison still definitely a weakness. Steel still definitely a weakness. What else is on the list there? I mean, immunity to both Psychic and Dragon, two very powerful typings though. Then Boltdown it's gonna get screwed over by ground, really. That's the only one it's really gonna got a weakness to, but it's resisted by, I believe, rock. If not, it goes like neutral for rock. But it's resisted by steel. It's a pure electric type. It is what it is. Copperajah, weak to fire and ground. But then again, immune to poison. Again, a very irritating type to deal against. And being steel means it's resistant to a lot of physical harm. Oh, and fighting types hurt it too. So really, it's not a bad team, all things considered. It's no, honestly, even the ones that have have the same weakness, there's no more than two mon that share the same weakness, really. So yeah, it's actually not a bad team overall. But this is just my thought on Bart Simpsons' team. What do you think about it? Do you like this team, or would you do something different with this team if you were to do something different? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks for the next one.